This is your Park Lane morning announcement.
Good morning, Park Lane. This is Mrs. Strader broadcasting live from Park Lane Elementary on Truffula Tuesday. Hey, we are celebrating Dr. Seuss Week, Read Across America Week, and today we're reading the Lorax. And since it's one of my favorite books, I'm going to read the Lorax to you after announcements today. Thank you for wearing green today. I see so many of you dressed in green today as we celebrate this. And don't forget that tomorrow we're going to read I Can Read With My Eyes Shut. So guess what? Tomorrow is pajama day. So you can wear your pajamas to school. No slippers. Got to wear tennis shoes or regular shoes. Hey, but you can wear your pajamas tomorrow as we continue reading Dr. Seuss books all week. All right. Let's get to some birthdays. We've got Hannah here. Hannah, how old are you today?
7.
And who is your teacher?
Mrs. Stryker.
Happy birthday to you. And right beside you, we've got Marshall. Marshall, how old are you today?
7.
And who's your teacher?
Mrs. Stryker.
Pretty cool. They're in the same class, and they both turned 7 today. And we've got Aiden over here. Aiden, how old are you today?
6.
And who's your teacher?
Mrs. Mullen.
Happy birthday to you. Hey. And Dion, can you tell us about our lunch today? What's for lunch today?
Hot dog.
All right. Sounds good. And Michaela, what about that weather today?
Rainy.
Yeah, kind of rainy, kind of cold. All right, let's get to some hot ticket winner birthday, folks. If you'll step around, and actually before I get to hot ticket winners, I've got another special guest. I've got Jordan here, and Jordan wanted to come and share with us a picture today. Who's this picture of?
My baby's brother.
What is his name?
Colton.
Awesome. And can you tell us when Colton was born?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. Okay, if we can, we're going to see if Mrs. Mullen can zoom in on Colton, if you'll hold him real still there. Thank you for bringing that in and sharing that with us, Jordan. All right, hot ticket winners, come on over, tell us your name and your teacher's name.
Miss Asheville.
What's your name?
Alyssa from Miss Asheville.
There you go. Go look up there so everybody can see you, Alyssa. Good job. Go on around the table.
Electra from Mrs. Morris's class.
Super job, Electra.
Chastity from Miss Falk's class.
Good job. Make sure you look up at the camera when you get here, guys.
Brooklyn from Mrs. Fell's class.
Good job, Brooklyn.
Yeah. Logan from Mrs. Howe's
Look
class.
up there, Logan, so they can see. Good job. Come on, hot ticket winner.
Louise from Mrs. Massey's class.
Good job, Luis.
Keaton from Mrs. Lawrence's class.
Super job.
Leon from Mrs. Rogers' class.
All right, look around there so they can see you. Good job, Aiden.
Brian from Mrs. Traeger's class.
Good job, Brian.
Leah from Mrs. Leidy's class.
Good job, Nevaeh.
Eli from Mrs.
Super job, Eli.
Kendall from Mrs. Whitson class.
All right, Kendall, look up there so they can see you. Okay, congratulations to all of our hot ticket winners. Okay, again, stay tuned if you can after announcements for the reading of the Lorax. Teachers, I know some of you will be heading to lunch soon, so if you can't, we'll have it uploaded as quick as we can, and if you want to go back and let the kids watch it later, that would be fine as well. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Park Lane News. Have a great day. Remember, we're all here too. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. I love the pictures in this book. So you guys can see it. At the far end of town where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax? And why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows, the old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mufford muff. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down his tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-grandfather snail. Slup! Down slups the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the Swami swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place. And I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees, I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh, buttery milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? Oh, that's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy. He spoke with a voice that was sharpish and mossy.
What is mossy?
I don't know. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset, and he shouted and puffed, what's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft?
What are you gonna do next?
Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat, but it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed.
Can't wait for the elevator tomorrow.
But at the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor guy. You can tell what some people will buy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Hush up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. turn left at Weehacken, sharp right at South Stitch.
What's that mean?
And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Yeah, I agree, Louise. Oh no. Then, oh baby, oh how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So quickly I invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore.
He did?
But the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and lived happily eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. Good luck, boys, he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. Doesn't sound like he cares too much about it, does he? I meant no harm, I truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. Then again he came back, I was fixing some pipes, when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax!" He coughed and he wheezed. He sniffed and he snuffled, he snargled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a crufulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing with that smog in his throat." See the poor swan?
He's sad.
"And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off." There they are, flying away.
Oh.
"What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup and sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." He's getting a little upset, isn't he?
He's getting mad.
"You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all glummed. I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins